Sherlene. I love listening to her, and today we're going to learn about the Payroll Productivity Suite. Take it away.
All right, great. Thank you, Kim, for inviting me to speak today. And we're here to look at our Payroll Productivity Suite. And hello, first of all, and thank you to those of you watching this webinar and listening in. Thank you for joining us today. My hope for you today is that this quick let's learn time here will show you some magical tricks that we've come up with that can make your life easier as you process payrolls in Microsoft Dynamics GP. So our objectives for this session are for you to learn how you can save time and reduce errors while you're processing GP and payroll. And secondly, we're going to take a quick look showing you this product in action. So before we do that, just a quick view of myself here. As a consultant, I've been with InterDyn BMI for almost 20 years, so that gives me that senior designation. Prior to consulting on Microsoft Dynamics GP, I was a customer like you guys using Dynamics version 1, lots of fun. Prior to that, I was also working for an employer that had the DOS Great Plains products, so I've been around in this world a long time. I have a CPA background, so I understand your entire accounting system. I have empathy for and understanding for what you're going through every day. My passion is in payroll and HR, so that's what I've taken on kind of as my baby here at InterDyn BMI, leading a great team of other consultants too that have a passion for payroll and HR. So that's where I get to spend my time implementing, training, reporting, supporting, presenting, lots of really fun things. I love GP payroll and HR. You'll be able to tell that as you see me go through this webinar today. So just to give you a little introduction, InterDyn BMI has 3 productivity tools within GP that we have developed internally here. These all came into existence because of requests from customers. So I work with many GP payroll and HR customers, so whenever we receive the same requests over and over, we turn these features into an enhancement so more customers can benefit. So you might think I'm trying to work myself out of a job with developing these 3 products, but really my end goal is to have happy and self-sufficient customers. So I think you'll appreciate these value-packed products, and once you implement them, you'll wonder how you got by without them before. So as you can see from the features that I'm going to show you today, it might trigger some seed thoughts for you about some other way that GP could be tweaked slightly to make your life easier. And these are the kinds of things that we at InterDyn BMI do really well. We listen to you as customers, take your pains, turn those frowns upside down. So if you don't love GP payroll yet, we'd like to show you some little ways that can change that story for you. Many times it's just a few little things that need to work differently in order to make the system really sing a prettier tune for you. So we love to help with that process. So right now we're marketing 3 productivity tool products related to HR and payroll. We just hosted a webinar yesterday. You can look for that in our YouTube channel regarding the payroll posting accounts. And we have another webinar coming up later in November here about the Human Resources and Payroll Smart List Suite. So look for those, and today we'll feature on the Payroll Productivity Suite. Okay, so our agenda for this little session is to talk about all the cool features in this product for the Payroll Productivity Suite and then see it all in action. So first of all, who can use this product? Here's a few questions for you to ask yourself. Do you find errors where a subject to tax flag was accidentally marked incorrectly, or you find that employee fields weren't filled in properly, so you missed something that you would like to be sure that is filled in? Within this Payroll Productivity Suite, you'll find some great ways to prevent issues like that from happening in the first place. So we have better things to do with our time than tear our hair out because we're finding errors. So let's prevent them to start with. We all could use a little bit more time, especially when it's time to get a direct deposit file to your bank. So there's nothing worse than knowing you're up against the clock, trying to get your direct deposit files submitted, knowing you're going to have 500 employees at your door looking for their money if it's not in the bank on time. We've seen that, felt that panic, experienced it ourselves when you guys call and say, hey, there's a bad routing number in my file. So we've built a little feature to help you prevent those types of things. And if employees are changing banks often, this particular feature will also just help you make sure you're keying those properly. Do you have a lot of benefit and deduction codes and you end up assigning the wrong codes to employees? We have a little feature in this product where you can do you can assign to the employee class what codes that employee is eligible for. So I'll show you that in a little bit here. And that will help you restrict the list down to just what you need to see for that employee, keep you from assigning the wrong codes. Do you have employees that frequently change positions, which dictate a change in SUTA or workers' comp codes? With the standard GP, changes made on the employee maintenance window for the SUTA and workers' comp codes don't automatically update on every pay code that the employee has assigned to them. So if you've ever noticed, there is actually a SUTA and workers' comp field right on the employee pay code maintenance, and an employee could have, 5, 10, 15 pay codes assigned to them. That's a big job to update those individually if you don't have this product. So we'll see how that works in this as well. So in a nutshell, here are some of the key features. Not everyone is listed, but we have a way to protect the tax checkboxes on the pay codes, deductions, and benefits. We can turn on additional required fields. We have a way to update SUTA and workers' comp codes on the pay codes when they change on the employee maintenance window. There's a feature in here built in for multi-location reporting for SUTA. I've seen this for the state of Minnesota, and I think I saw one other state recently where if you have multiple locations where employees are working within the state, you actually need to have another code on your SUTA report. So this interacts with green shades as well. So that's a great feature. Also, every year end we have those messages come up on our validation report that our addresses are too long for the W-2. We've changed those address fields in this product to limit to the 22 characters that the W-2 will display. We have a modified employee maintenance window, a modified benefit deduction summary window, and it will automatically mark the use add-on checkbox if you're using the PTO manager. Like I mentioned before, a way to set your bank routing numbers and prevent the errors with those direct deposit account numbers, and then the employee class restrictions. So there's a ton packed into this little productivity suite. What versions will this work with? GP 2013, 2015, 2016 are all compatible. We also worked with GP 2010, but since that is not supported anymore, we aren't listing it, and hopefully you have upgraded. So at this time, we are ready to go take a closer look at the products. So let me get my machine here up front and get situated so I can see what we're doing again. Whoops, end slideshow, just one moment here. Sorry about this. I'll be ready momentarily. Okay, so within GP, once this product is installed, you have some new options under your payroll menus. So Payroll Productivity Suite Utilities, I just wanted to show you this activation window here. This is where you get to choose, you pick and choose which features in the product that you're going to turn on. So I have marked to turn on a bunch of required fields that aren't standard as required. I'm going to show you the other features that I've turned on here as well. So you can pick and choose what you want to activate for that. So we will start in the employee maintenance window. Give you a little view of this. This is a modified version of the employee maintenance window. As you can see down here, you're seeing both the code and the description. This was a request. Lots of customers like to see the code and the description. Not everybody knows what every code means by heart, so it's nice to see them right on the same view here. And you can also see that I have more fields in red than you normally would. Those are the fields that I turned on as required fields as part of this product. So you can pick and choose which fields that you use that you want to have marked as required. I want to make sure I always fill in my employee class. That's an important field to me. I always fill in my SUTA state and workers' comp. I've made those required. Also, the birth date field on this window is required, so we don't miss those things on our initial setup of the employee. So just to show you quickly, this SUTA state, if I change this to another state for any reason, the employee works somewhere else, I'll switch them over to that and go ahead and save that change and pull up my employee once more, take a look, and now when I go to my pay codes window, you'll be able to see that when I scroll through the pay codes for Pilar, I now have the new SUTA state and workers' comp codes assigned there. Okay, one of the other features actually showing right on this window, you can see that these checkboxes are grayed out. So that's one of our safety features that we built into this. You can set this per user. So if you need a user to be able to access these fields here and change them, you have a way to do that. We would just recommend setting it as a default so they can't be changed accidentally at the employee level. We have not disabled them at the setup level of the pay code. Those are all still appropriately available, but generally to keep our taxable wages in balance and not and avoid problems when we're getting to the quarter end time, we don't want these settings to be different than the setup level. So between the employee and the setup. So we've disabled those boxes at the employee level for pay codes, deductions, and benefits. So you'll see that all on those various windows. So back to my employee, I'm going to jump over here and go to the human resources. Well, even before I go there, I'll show you one other little trick here. At my class setup, we have a restriction ability here now. So if I go to my additional window, this is where I can decide for this particular employee class, these are the codes that are appropriate to use. So you can see in my list of deductions, I do have another medical plan available, but I've decided that for this support class, they are not eligible for that plan. So I do not have those medical fields, the medical codes pushed over to the right side. Now this isn't assigning the code to the employees, it's assigning it as that the employee class is eligible for these codes. So let me show you how this comes into play when I go into my HR deduction and summary window. So first of all, you can see this is also a modified window, and you see the description of the code. That's not in the standard product, and we also have a column in here for the retirement percent or dollar amount. So if you have a retirement code with the standard GP, it just would always show zeros here in the premium amount areas, and there wasn't a column for retirement. So now we can see that. We can display right from this nice concise window what this employee has actually enrolled for retirement. So when I am selected here, if I look at enrolled, you see the codes that are assigned to this employee. If I look at all benefits, you're seeing only the list of codes that this employee's employee class is eligible for. So I mentioned that second medical plan that I had. I did not make that accessible to the support employee class. So you can see that those codes do not show up as options for me to choose from in here when I have selected all benefits. I think that's pretty cool. I've seen customers with very, very long lists of deduction and benefit codes, and all they get is a code, If they haven't named them very smartly, it's hard to even know what that code means. So this is a great modified view. It's great to have a nice concise list of just what I want to show for my employee being eligible. So one other thing I wanted to show you quickly, and again this is just a quick view of this, so we'll take a look here at the direct deposit window. You can see when I go into this window that now, in addition to our bank number and our account number, this is also a modified window. So I've got the bank name actually showing in here. So if I click on my line and zoom back to my bank name, a couple of neat things in here are, let's say that you had a bank that changed their bank routing number, and that bank might be assigned to, 165 employees. That's a lot of work to go through all of those records individually and change those direct deposit records on employees, and there's a lot of room for error when you're keying those all manually. So if for some reason there's a bank routing number change, you can change it right in here and save it, and it will ask you to roll down those changes. And now I can see that updated in my employees. So every employee that has this Northwestern Bank assigned to them can now see we've got the new bank routing number assigned right in there. So that really is in a nutshell. I think I got all of those features that I wanted to show you really quick here. That was very quick. And I think that's the end of my demo part of this. Let me get my slideshow back in here and switch this around here. It'll let me. There you go. That's the view you guys want to see. So great little product. See if there were some features in there that you can use, and if you'd like to view our upcoming payroll related webinars, we've got one on November 29th regarding the Smart List suite that I've put together of reports that have been needed and requested by customers over the last many years in Smart List Builder. And then also on November 22nd, we have a webinar about what is going to be in that GP year-end update that was just released, what's in it, and who needs to install it. So it'll help you decide if you really need to have it installed. And then on December 14th, if you haven't seen this one before, this is a great one. We want you to be sure that you know that your taxable wages are correct. So we've put together a session on how to verify those are correct. And here's my contact info if you need to send any questions in. And speaking of questions, now it's time for you to ask any that you have. There is a place on the side of the webinar, I believe, there that you can raise your hand or enter a question. And Kim, if you would monitor those for me, that would be great.
That's great. So right now I have no questions in the queue. So let's get your questions in there. Here we go. This comes from a customer and says, I use the GP product module. Can I still use the payroll productivity suite?
GP project, I bet you mean?
Project,
GP
yes.
project module? Okay. So yes, most customers can use this payroll productivity suite. So there is a possibility that specific companion products would conflict if they have alternate windows that must be used instead of our modified windows that we include in this product. But usually, and so we'd want to confirm the compatibility with any companion products that you use, but usually we are not going to have any issues with this.
Okay. Are there built-in reports for the direct deposit banks and employee account numbers?
That is a great suggestion. I do not have a report built into this particular product, but that is a report that's part of our Human Resources and Payroll Smart List suite, so you may want to check that out.
Excellent. All right. All right, and then this comes from Jane, and it says, I'm sure I have a mess in SUTA and workman's comp codes on the employee pay codes. Is there a way to update them to match what is on the employee maintenance window?
Okay, so that can happen when you've changed the employee codes, the SUTA and workers' comp code right on the employee maintenance window, but you haven't remembered to go change them on the pay codes. I can definitely see where that happens. So yes, there are actually, of course, several ways that you can get those things back in sync. We have scripts we can provide to run in SQL to update those, or after you would install the Payroll Productivity Suite, if you touch those codes on the employee maintenance window, it would roll over to all of the employees' pay codes. So, of course, and there are other ways too that we could do it with macros and things like that.
Oh yeah, good. All right. Well, that concludes the questions I've got here, Sherlene. So again, thank you very much. And if you have any questions, please get in touch with Sherlene or myself, or email user experiences at InterDyn BMI, and we'll make sure we get you help. Thank you so much, Sherlene.
All right.
Great job as
Okay.
always.